Hi, my name's Sue. I'm the Parkinson's Movement Disorder Clinical Nurse Consultant at Royal North Shore Hospital in Sydney, and I'm just running through some really practical and helpful tips to help out with constipation. So with Parkinson's disease, it's pretty much a given that people are also constipated. And because they've been constipated for a long time, they often lose track of what is normal and what's not normal. And what we're aiming for is a nice soft poo every day. And the reason we do this is because it can affect your symptoms. Medications for Parkinson's disease like levodopa aren't absorbed until they move through the stomach and around the corner into the jejunum. And if your gut motility is slow, it can delay those medications getting around into the jejunum where they're actually absorbed. So they can affect the absorption of your medications and the reliability, but also we all feel better after a good poo. To help you understand what's normal, we've got the Bristol stool chart. Now, there is an official version of this one. I prefer this version because I find the descriptions much more helpful. And what we're after is the type 4, a sausage poo. And we're not after a breakfast sausage, we're after a soft Mr. Whippy kind of sausage, something that's soft and into the toilet. As it goes in, it should curl. If it's too hard, like a breakfast sausage, we want to address that situation. So we also have corn on the cob, bunches of grapes, and rabbit droppings. These are way too hard. We're aiming for soft. So anything below a 4 or a 5, so we're looking at chicken nuggets. I'm not sure why it says chicken nuggets. I think maybe mashed potato might be a better description, or porridge is what we're aiming for. However, we do have a problem if you've got a gravy consistency. And often a gravy consistency goes hand in hand with rabbit droppings. So if you're having these mixed consistency in your poo, then we would be concerned about overflow. So what is it? Overflow or diarrhea if you've got gravy. So here on the left we have your buttocks and your anus. Now the anus job is to hold closed so that when you're ready, it will open and let the poo out for today. And here we have the poo sitting here in the rectum, and we have one poo for the day ready to move through. Here we have a very large backup build-up of poo sitting hard in the rectum, and this puts pressure on the anus, and it makes it very difficult for the anus to hold it closed and do its job. So we can often get these sneaky leaky bits around the side. And this is because the large poo is acting like a cork, but the softer liquid that's sitting up behind leaks around the side. And so that's when people are concerned they're having accidents, they've got diarrhea and things, when really in actual fact, they've got overflow. So what do we do about this? There's some, what we're aiming for is a soft Mr. Whippy poo every day. So if you imagine everything you ate yesterday, breakfast, lunch and dinner are 3 carriages in, you want to make sure that you've got 3 carriages coming out. If you're leaving any carriages behind, you are backing up slowly. They will just slowly gather one on one and you will end up constipated. So we want to make sure that everything that went in yesterday is coming out today. And a good way of just sort of checking that without any effort is if you had a curry last night, you should know that the curry came out this morning. Same with corn. Sometimes corn works too, but if you're forgetting about that curry and you've never seen it come out, then you know you've backed up and you've forgotten that the curry was supposed to be coming out. So we're aiming for a soft Mr. Whippy poo every day. That is all of the things you ate yesterday coming out today. So how do we keep things moving? Some very simple things. If we can sit on the toilet, just like we sit normally, but if we can lift our feet up on a footrest, this will raise our knees higher than our hips. And this helps the pelvic floor to relax and let out the poo in a softer, easier motion. Also makes using your abdomen and pushing a lot easier. Next one is hydration. We are supposed to drink more than we normally drink. I don't drink much. I'm not a very good water drinker, but we should be drinking around 8 glasses a day. But the main tell is if you are thirsty, you're not drinking enough. And this will also help to keep your poo soft, because the longer it sits in your bowel, not moving, the more the bowel does its job, which is to draw out the nutrients and the liquid, and you're left with a harder poo. And the harder the poo is, the harder it is for the little Parkinson's bowel to push it all along. So we want to make sure you're well hydrated. Next one is eating well, eating healthy and eating a well-balanced diet. Just sensible, common sense eating is adequate, avoiding foods that are high in sugar and fat, and eating lots of vegetables, fruit and salad. Now, people often ask about fibre and high fibre. You don't need to go overboard, just what is normal and healthy is enough. And sometimes if you eat too much fibre, you actually are causing more bulk, and that also makes it harder for the bowel to push it along. So just common sense, good healthy eating is enough. Next one's exercise. And the more we exercise, the fitter we are, the more stronger we are and the healthier we are. So it's good anyway, but it also helps our bowels moving. I don't know if you ever had a little baby who was constipated, the nurse tells you to wriggle their legs and get them moving like that, and that will help their bowel move. Same for big people. The more we're moving, the more our bowel's moving. So next part is to understand your medication regime. We have a lot of medications that we commonly use to help you poo every day. We've got softeners, movers, bulkers, and cork poppers. I'm going to take you through each of these. So the first one is softeners, and some examples of this is Movicol and Osmolax, and these are powders that we add to water. They do need to be taken with the amount of water that's on the packet, because the idea of this medication is it is drawing water or liquid back into the bowel and helping to keep the poo soft so that it's easier to move. How much do you need to take? Well, we need to be looking in the toilet to see what is coming out to know what you need to do. And going back to that Bristol stool chart there, if you've got a breakfast sausage or little finger lady poos, they're too hard, you need something soft. You're aiming for that soft Mr. Whippy poo or porridge or mashed potato kind of consistency so that it's passing easily without a lot of effort. And these two medications help to keep it soft. You can take it once a day or twice a day. You can take one at a time or 2 at a time. And again, this is something that you should consult with your pharmacist or GP or doctor as to how much you need. But pretty much whatever you do need to take is what you continue to need to take. These are not addictive. You don't become reliant on them. You just find that with Parkinson's disease, you're always going to have problems with constipation. And so you will generally need to take whatever it is you need to take to keep your poo nice and soft every day. The next one is the movers. Now, these ones have a laxative in it. Their point of issues that they are strengthening the squeeze in the bowel so that it's moving the poo along. We have got Coloxyl, Docalax, Prulax are some examples. I find some people do need to take these every day. Some need to take them twice a day. Some people need to take them if they didn't poo this morning, they take them tonight to make sure they poo the next day. But the idea is you're taking whatever it is that you need to take to make sure that you're doing a nice soft Mr. Whippy poo every day. These ones are bulkers, so these ones are adding fibre to your system. I generally don't recommend these as a first line because we don't need more bulk in Parkinson's. The bowel is already struggling to push things along, so I generally don't recommend these ones. However, if you are already taking them, don't stop what you're taking. Continue and add on the others as you sort of look at what's happening in the toilet and how easy it is to push things along. The next one are cork poppers. So the idea of these ones is they're clearing that big emu egg that might be stuck if you've actually got overflow happening. And so the idea with this one, with the Microlax, is it has the little nozzle there, and you insert, put a bit of either a little bit of the medication on the tip or a bit of KY jelly or lubricant on the tip. Just makes insertion a little easier. You're inserting it sort of around the edge of the bowel, between the bowel and poo. Insert, squeeze the reservoir and keep squeezing the reservoir and pulling it out. This delivers the medication into the rectum, and the way they work is that they then irritate the edge of the rectum so that it does a big squeeze and helps shift that poo and pop that cork. These ones can be managed by yourself. They're very easy to do by yourself. The fleet enemas are a little bit more industrial strength. They often need someone to help you with because they've got quite a lot of reservoir that needs to be delivered in. But these ones are more helpful with someone to assist. Often community nurses will help. Often we use these in the hospital if you've got yourself in a real pickle. But the Microlax enema can be used every day very safely. People are often a little bit daunted by the concept of them, but actually what they do provide is a reliable time for pooing. So you use the medication and you should poo within the next 15 minutes. And so you reliably emptied that rectum for the day and you can carry on with your business, not worried about what's happening. So the idea is that you've got a nice soft Mr. Whippy poo every day, and whatever it is that you need to do and take to maintain that daily bowel action is what you need to continue to do, because as soon as you stop taking that, you will stop pooing. So one poo every day. Thank you.